Hello everyone. Reading plays a very important role in our lives. This video is dedicated to the topic how to inculcate reading skills in our children. Before we go deep into the video, first let's discuss why is it important to introduce reading skills at a very early stage. Because it helps in the development of brain, development of vocabulary, comprehension and communication skills. It improves fluency. It improves the command on spellings. And eventually, it improves the writing skills of a person. For our little ones, how should we expose them to words, pronunciation, sound? In my view, we should play lots of nursery rhymes at home as well as in the classroom, because at this stage the child is listening and listening again and again. And what is happening? He is learning. Unknowingly, he is learning some new words. This is called acquired language. Right now, just let him listen, because our little one doesn't know how to read. Maybe by now the child has mastered the skill of reading a letter or a word. What should parents and teachers do at this stage? Buy a book. Sit down with the children to read a book to them. Select an attention-gripping book with lots of pictures. Why with lots of pictures? Because pictures amuse the child. The child will try to comprehend pictures in his own imaginative way. This will improve his imaginative skills. Let him hold the book to touch and feel and to create that connection. Allow him to flip pages. Ask curiosity-based questions, and when he asks some questions, do not get angry. Answer them. Listen to his answers without judging him. Encourage the child to weave a story with you. For example, there are toys around. Use those toys as a prop. You start the sentence of the story and ask the child to think and add something to that sentence which you just spoke. Like that, you can create a very short story. Next suggestion is buy some magnetic letters. Make the child read some letters from the book, then ask him to pick the same letter from the magnetic letter box. The child will identify that letter and pick it up. Ask him to put it on the board. Ask him to read another letter and do the same activity of picking the magnetic letter. Maybe with regular practice, the child will be able to form words in a very playway manner. Usage of flashcards is a wonderful technique. It's a playful means to introduce new words, images, and concepts. This will make the child read as well as enjoy. The most effective tool to enhance reading skills is storytelling. So when you as a teacher or as a parent are telling a story to the child, be very dramatic to capture the interest of the child. Here is one such example, how to narrate a story. Long time ago, there lived a king. He was a very kind king. He was loved by his people. Nobody was unhappy in his kingdom. One day, he decides to go for hunting. He goes through a forest. He gets separated from his people. The wind was blowing. Now The king looks around. He's all alone in the jungle, but he's not scared. He passes through a jungle where there were lions. The jungle was making weird noises. But he went on riding on his horse. Taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak, taka, tak. Do you think he was able to reach his palace safe and sound? I think so. Yes. Tell me, why was he able to reach safe and sound? Because he was brave. He was not scared. So if we are brave and we are not scared, we will overcome all our problems. Alright, so this was one way of narrating a story. This will create interest in the child to later on pick up a small storybook and read a story. Here are some more suggestions for you. Buy some variety of books such as fables, epics, fiction, fantasy, adventure, comics. Why should you have varieties? So that the child doesn't get bored of reading one kind of a book. Give them a sense of possession. Allow them to maintain their own library at home, if not in school. Why to do so? So that he creates a bond with him and his books, and he learns to take care of them. Next, while the child is reading, record it. Let the child listen to his reading activity and do a self-analysis. Let him be his own judge to see what were his strengths, what were his weaknesses. You do not point out his follies. When you are reading a story to your child, or as a teacher you are reading a story, do not read the story completely. Read it just the halfway through. Why so? So that the child gets interested to know what happened in the end. This will ignite curiosity, and the child will pick up the book to know what happens in the end. Last but not the least, allow the child to choose his own book. Do not force your choice on the child, because please remember, no activity is enjoyed by young or old if it is forced on them. We have reached the activity corner. Let's see what activities we can do while reading a story. You can hold a discussion on the following: on the setting of the story. Ask him, where is the story happening? Is it happening in a jungle, or in a palace, or in a city? Where? Ask him about the characters of the story. What was the name of that man? What was his nature? What kind of a person was he? Next, make them underline some new words that they've come across. If they're struggling to know the meaning of it, no matter how basic that word is for you, be patient. Share the meaning with the child. If the child is facing any problem in reading a particular paragraph, you read it aloud. Make the child aware of the elements of the story, the genre, the theme of the story. What are the post-reading activities? Now, the child has mastered the skill of reading stories. Now, let's add some fun factor to the reading activity. Here is a list of activities. I would suggest don't force the activity. Ask him to choose which activity would he like to pick after reading a particular story. Would he like to do a role play, or read a dialogue with proper modulation? Or would he like to story weave with you? Would he like to summarize? A paragraph writing activity is not a bad idea. He can design a book if he has that artistic flair. or he can design a comic strip. He can present a character or maybe the entire story with the help of hand puppets. If he thinks that the story's end was not so good, ask him to write a suggestive ending. And in the end, you can quiz him, or he can formulate some questions on his own. Time for some Supertonic for you, for parents and teachers. Please encourage the child. Appreciate him for the minutest progress that he has made in his reading skills. Maintain the regularity in reading. Add that newness. What do I mean by newness? Read a fable, or ask him to read an adventure story the next day, maybe a fiction today, maybe a fable tomorrow. This will bring newness. Remember, our little time spent today will help the child emerge as a confident human being tomorrow. English is interesting. Keep learning. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.